9 overtimes. That was fun. Illinois 20, Penn State 18. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media. Subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis of the game we all love each and every day with you. Hit that bell for the notifications once you've subscribed. That way you know when we're going live, which is every day. All right. We thought, you thought, I thought, just about everybody thought that the Big Ten Eastern Division would come down to a round robin between Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan. Well, enter Brett Bielema and Illinois and a ground and pound like we rarely see in college football as Illinois passes for 38 yards and they win a Big Ten game on the road. Let's focus. This is about Penn State, of course, from championship considerations, but let's focus on Illinois for a second. Brett Bielema, early in the week, was under siege for comments that he made at his weekly news conference, considering the depth on the roster, the lack of talent, the condition of the program and the roster at the point in which he took it over, what he evaluated to be some deficiencies across both sides of the ball, but specifically, he pointed out the offensive line. He took heat for that, but he knew how to handle it. So a lot of the players questioned it, and rightfully so based on the clips that we've seen. However, Brett Bielema took it on head on. He showed the clip in its entirety to the team, the entire news conference, and explained it. Take it for what you will. Check that out. It's an interesting clip because Brett Bielema being more honest than most football coaches about the state of the program, the state of the roster at which he inherited that roster. There's a reason he's the head coach at Illinois. Illinois is not a good football program. Bad football programs fire coaches and get new coaches. So typically when you take over and are a first-year head coach, you don't have a good football team. That's what we've got at Illinois. Maybe this is a breakthrough to a certain extent. Okay, Illinois ran the ball 67 times. That's a school record. That's classic Brett Bielema football. They ran for 357 yards. They came into the game, Illinois, as the 68th rushing attack in America out of 130 teams. Pretty marginal, despite running the ball far more than passing it. And that's a total rushing statistic because So their effectiveness running the football has been worse than mid-level in the country. If you follow me, they run the ball a ton. They were only 68th in rushing. In particular, this same Illinois team 2 weeks ago against Wisconsin was outgained 5-1. They gave up just under 500 yards of total offense to Wisconsin. They gained 93. 357 on the ground against Penn State. They mauled it straight ahead. My goodness, Chase Brown, we've known about him. We've watched him. He's been the best back for Illinois going back to last season. 33 carries for 223. Also, Joshua McCray is a guy that was buried on the depth chart, but as soon as he got a look in camp, he can play. He ran it 24 times for 142. And a look out for him in future seasons. Artur Sitkowski, the Rutgers transfer quarterback, well, he threw it 19 times, completed 38 yards passing. Classic stuff. 9 overtimes. They go to overtime tied at 16, and the two teams couldn't even score. They were going to play more overtimes than combined yardage in overtime between the two teams. That's the way it was being played. On the defensive side for Illinois, this is a team that, again, gave up 500 yards to Wisconsin, was burned for long touchdown passes by Brennan Armstrong and Virginia, losing 42-14. But on this day, they had it under control. In particular, Tony Adams and Devin Witherspoon, tight in coverage, coming up and making plays in the backfield, pass breakups. Adams on a particular sequence had a sack and a tackle for loss to stop a drive. Those two were exceptional in particular. All right, let's get to the Penn State side, because this was the team that was supposed to contend for a Big Ten championship, and they still can. But, of course, the window of opportunity is that big. They cannot slip up again. At 2-2 in the Big Ten, now 5-2 overall with the loss at Iowa, of course. P.J. Mustipher, their best defensive lineman, out for the season. Penn State missed 3 of their rotational interior linemen for this game. So that can explain, to a certain extent, 357 yards rushing against them. Sean Clifford on the offensive side. Does the rib bother him? It's got to bother him. This is a good quarterback who's made strides. He's developed into a high-level quarterback. 19 for 34 on the day. Jahan Dotson did bail him out on occasion. He is one of the great players in the Big Ten, of course. There was a play that he made downfield that was an amazing catch in which Clifford just completely just chucked it up in the air, and Dotson came out of nowhere to make an amazing catch. 6 catches, 69 yards for him. But again, the Penn State rushing attack, non-existent. Noah Cain, 11 carries, 43 yards. In all, Penn State ran for 2.1 yards per carry. That will not get it done. 207 yards for the Penn State offense in regulation. 207 yards of total offense and 16 points. And again, they were not playing an Illinois defense that had played well often this season. So what does it mean? For Brett Bielema and company, he took a bad situation, potentially a damaging situation this week, and turned it around. He put it on his offensive line. The unit that he, based on perspective, based on context, criticized this week as saying, basically, we're deficient at offensive line. Nobody that's been recruited, he stated this in the last 2 years, is contributing at the level that we need. He put the game in their hands, 67 attempts, school record, and they won the football game at Penn State. Illinois is not going anywhere this year, but what they do down the stretch to follow up this effort is huge. They've got Rutgers, very winnable game at home, of course. At Minnesota, they will be a decided underdog, but it's winnable. At Iowa, and then they finish up with Northwestern. Okay, Illinois is at 3-5. They could finish 5-7 possibly. That would be a nice season for the Illini right now. Penn State, they're facing Ohio State in Columbus next week. They need a monumental effort. They've got to find some offense somewhere, and they've got to get some push in the running game. They cannot go to Columbus and throw the ball 50 times and expect to win. At Maryland, Michigan, Rutgers, at Michigan State. Based on what we've seen from Penn State in recent weeks, with the Clifford injury, with the injuries on the defensive side, which I consider to be a top 2 or 3 defense in the Big Ten, one of the 10 best defenses in America, and they're still holding people out of the end zone. But you can see the wear and tear of the injuries taking a toll on Penn State. This is probably going to be an 8-4 football team, and they're not the team that we saw a few weeks ago. Your thoughts about Penn State, Illinois, the Big Ten race, and beyond right here at the Voice of College Football. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe right here, and we will see you next time.